How about Morgan McDonald from Wisconsin, like Reed Connor, the winner of the 3K?
You gotta love him. Look at this move coming along the inside by Michigan. They let him do that, which sets him up for this move with 1 lap left to go. Takes off on the field, puts a gap in that first 50 meters of the last lap, and doesn't even, he looks back, but he knows he's got the race locked up, even though there's a great late race push from Chris of Indiana.
Easy for you to say, Reed. As we're looking live here for the men's distance medley relay.
I'm sure we're in store for a very exciting race here this year. I remember watching last year, the men were very spread out from the first 3 legs, and then as soon as they handed off for the 1600 meter leg, the final leg of this DMR, all 12 teams bunched back up together again, and it became a 1 lap sprint to the finish line, which gives it a chance for some teams who might not necessarily contend for a medal come away with one.
That's right, that tends to happen in the men's races at Big Tens. We saw that in the 3K. We're most likely going to see it in the DMR and 5K as well, and the mile for that matter. Critical in the DMR is the handoffs. Things can get messy if all the teams are bunched up. And on the 300 meter track, you're always passing off at a different point.
Handoffs definitely are critical in this race, considering there's 4 different distances handing off to one another. We start with the 1200 meter leg, handing off to a 400. They get the baton, they're whipping around the track very fast, handing it off to a half-mile leg, which then the 4th leg is a mile, which is when we typically see these men slow up a little bit and leave it down to a kick. We'll see if that's the case here tonight at the Spire Institute for the 2017 Big Ten Championship on the line.
All right, for Indiana, Reed, it's Murphy, Roach, Kuhn, and Mao, the 4 racers for Indiana.
They're really, if that's their lineup, they're going for the win. That team is currently ranked #1 in the nation. They ran a 9:28.14 at the Alex Wilson Invitational last week. It's the 2nd fastest time in school history.
All right, Reed, for Minnesota, I can let you know that it's going to be Strike, Wellenstu, Heschel, and Whipkey for the Golden Gophers. That's your #2 seed, right, in this one?
That's right, and that's the team that is currently ranked #4 in the nation. Also, last week, they ran at the Alex Wilson Invitational, running 9:30.48.
And I can tell you for Michigan, it'll be Barnett, Schwett, Wilkie, and Hill for the Michigan Wolverines, your pick for #3.
Their team is currently ranked #11 in the nation. That's a little bit different lineup than they had when they ran their 11th time, which was a 9:32.13. One of my favorite teams, though, Penn State. You have to watch for them. They're trying to win this race for the 6th year in a row.
And the men's distance medley relay is underway, and I'll let you know that it's Makins, Mathis, Parada, and Harris for Penn State.
Harris on the anchor will be very interesting. His mile PR is 4:05, but he's one of the top 800, 600 meter runners in the nation. Actually has the collegiate record in the 600 meters. So we know he has speed. If it slows down and he's on the anchor, you better watch out for him.
Our top 3 right now coming around the first curve is Wisconsin, Iowa, and Michigan State. It appears these men have really gotten after it. This pace appears to be pretty fast. We'll see if it continues for this 1200 meter leg.
That's Carl Hirsch of Wisconsin leading it. Doesn't look like they're going to let it bunch up on this 1200 meter leg.
We can see an unfamiliar face in one of these short distances. Sharon Hart, the 5th-year senior from Michigan State. He's a 3K, 5K guy, but he's run a PR in the mile of about 4:06 and some change this year. This 1200 meters has got to feel pretty fast for him.
Carl Hirsch in the lead. Sorry, Reed, for Wisconsin. Then it's Alex Teague, Cooper Barth, and Russell Sandvold.
Sherrod might have a little bit of speed there at the end like we saw in the 3K for those distance runners. Sometimes that strength really pays off.
Strength does pay off. As you can see, we have half-milers and milers in this race, but we also have 5K, 10K guys. That's the great thing about the distance medley relay, is that it appeals to tons of athletes on a team. It's a very exciting race. The last chance to earn points on the first day of the Big Ten Championships.
It's a great event, especially for some of those athletes that aren't quite able to compete in an individual event. They get a chance to represent their team in this relay.
It's 1,200, then 400, then 800, then 1,600 here at the distance medley relay. This event dominated by the Penn State Nittany Lions, your Big Ten champions in this event since 2012, going for 6 in a row. Right now, though, Wisconsin leading.
Illinois right behind Wisconsin as they get ready for the first handoff. They are handing off to a 400-meter leg. Watch this transition be very quick.
Looks like Sharon Hart of Michigan State trying to make a move, and now Minnesota really puts it on. They're going to hand it off in the lead, followed by Illinois and Wisconsin. These handoffs can be messy. Hopefully no one falls right now. You say Michigan State had a little bit of a tough start. This is a 400 meters, so you'll see these guys pick up the pace quite a bit after that first leg.
Minnesota did have a clean handoff, but now Illinois closing down.
The men on these 400-meter legs are typically separated by the smallest of margins.
Indiana having a huge leg. They were in 4th, and it looks like they're pulling into the lead. We'll see if he can hold that as he goes to hand off here.
That's Markevius Roach for Indiana with that big kick. For Illinois, it's Ken Allen. Minnesota in 2nd. And now the handoff, as Reed Cotter said, so important. Indiana, though, still leading Minnesota in 2nd, Illinois in 3rd.
You know who I don't see up there? Penn State. Looks like that chance to go for their 6th in a row isn't going to work out unless they can have a monster anchor leg.
It's important to note here that the leader we have from IU, Daniel Kuhn, he's the defending champ at 600 meters. He's run one of the fastest 600-meter and 800-meter times in the country this year. He's got tons of leg speed. What an impressive person to have on your 800-meter leg for IU. They've got to be wanting to contend for this title.
He's currently ranked number 1 in the nation in the 800, so you can't have anyone better in all of college on your 800-meter leg. Indiana's really going for those team points early, setting up, hopefully, what is a Big Ten title for them.
Well, they're showing why they're ranked number 1 in the nation in this event. Keep in mind, Minnesota, the last team not named Penn State to win this event at the Big Ten Championships.
It looks like we have that's Chase Pack catching up to them. Michigan State, Justin Kiprotich, really coming on strong. He's a strong young talent.
Indeed he is. He was a freshman last year at the Outdoor Big Ten Championships. He got 2nd place in the 1,500 meters with 1 shoe on. So imagine how fast he can run if he has 2 shoes on.
We're seeing that here tonight, but Kuhn has put on that speed. It looks like he saved up a bit there in the middle for a strong handoff to Kyle Mogg, the freshman.
We'll see what these men do here, if they're going to make it honest and keep it hard, or if they'll eventually all come back together and make it a late charge race.
So Kyle Mau, spelled M-A-U, leading it here as part of the 1,600, the distance medley relay. 1,200 in the books, 400 in the books, 800 in the books, and now 1,600 to try to win a Big Ten title.
It's very important to really watch your pacing on this 1,600-meter leg, especially if you're running alone. It's very easy to get out a little bit too aggressively and pay for it in the late stages of the race. So Mau has to be very, very relaxed, especially considering he's a freshman. He might get a little bit antsy. We'll see, though, if a late charge comes back from the rest of the field, but he's still way out in front on 2nd place Minnesota right now.
That's right, mental pressure of being a freshman out there. I wouldn't be as confident in him, except that he had this same pressure on him at the Alex Wilson invite where he anchored and led Indiana to the nation's leading time. So he's been in this position before, which is rare for a freshman. We'll see how he does here at the Big Ten Championships.
It's important that you noted that the IU men are #1 in the country alongside their IU women's team, who is #2 in the country. These two programs have really been on the up and up. They're starting to get some very high quality athletes that are changing the culture of their program and bringing some fast times and high places back to Bloomington.
And Ma being chased by Minnesota. His PR for Ma is 4.37. Minnesota chasing him. His PR is 4:03.8.
Reed mentioned Mao's PR is 4 minutes flat. This leg right here is a 1,600 meter. His PR is for a full mile. There's a chance he could break 4 minutes on the anchor leg here in the 1,600 meter final leg. He's got about 450 meters remaining in his hopes to lead his team to a Big Ten championship in the men's DMR.
He looks fairly relaxed to me. I don't see any strain. If he keeps this up, Indiana should win and get those 10 points they're looking for to be ahead going after that Big Ten title.
This is a wildly different finish from last year. Instead of all 10 teams sprinting to the finish line, we have Indiana way out in front, followed by Minnesota. We'll see who comes up with third place, as there's about 6 teams all bunched up together on the hunt for that bronze medal.
The freshman Mall way out in front for Indiana. Speaking of Indiana Hoosiers, of course, Lara Overton, former track athlete at Indiana, will have our interviews with all the winners as part of our coverage tomorrow on BTN Plus on BTN To Go.
And this should be coming into the last lap here. They're going to run a real solid time. They had to go out to the lead because Penn State tends to have the best kickers in the race, especially if they put Harris on the anchor. They were expecting it to be a slow race and just have him finish it up for them. Penn State's nowhere to be found. Indiana's going for the team championship, running away with it, saying they're not messing around. You saw a great effort from Chris in the 3K, and now the entire Indiana team in this DMR with Ma bringing it home.
Excellent composure for Ma as he's got about 80 meters left. What an honor and a privilege for this freshman to lead this anchored DMR to a Big Ten championship. The first one added to his resume, probably the first of many.
And 9:34, we have a Spire and a Big Ten record. Take that away from Penn State, added to Indiana. That is impressive for this type of meet. These athletes have to come back tomorrow and run again.